Communication is the name of the game for you this month, Pisces. With Mercury spending most of its time in Scorpio this month, communication and speaking your truth are of utmost importance. Remember, Pisces, a closed mouth does not get fed. I know you've been hurt in the past. I know that the last thing that you want to do is bare your soul, particularly to someone who may have hurt you in the past, but that is where you're going to find your healing, and that is where you're going to find a favorable resolution to a problem that you've been facing. It's time to get real, and it's time to speak your truth. Are you ready, Pisces? All right, let's get into it. What's up, Pisces? I hope that this video finds you well and in excellent spirits. As always, my name is Mel and welcome to my channel, Divine Feminine Works. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. This channel is everything tarot, astrology, and spirituality. So if those are the things that interest you, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so you'll always be notified when I come out with new content. All right, Pisces. Happy November. I can't believe we're in the month of November already, but I'm loving it because I am so ready to throw 2020 in the trash. Like seriously, I'm so ready to get on to 2021. So the faster time moves, I feel like the better it is for all of us. Hopefully November hasn't been too intense for you so far. Scorpio happens to be an intense sign, and with the sun being in the sign of Scorpio for majority of the month, a lot of us are feeling this intensity on a very subconscious and a very deep sort of level. Scorpio season is magical in a sense because the veil is super thin between the spiritual realm and our reality. So it's almost like throughout the month of November, it's like we have spirit almost like standing next to us, ready to communicate with us, and us being able to receive a lot of the messages that spirit has for us. That's why so many cultures venerate ancestors during the month of November, because that is when the veil is at its thinnest. There's so much that we can learn. There's so much that we can say, to those who have passed on, and there's so much knowledge that those that have passed on can pass on to us during this month. But again, it could be also very intense because Scorpio season requires us to take a hard look at some of the things that maybe we have not paid attention to, things that we've swept under the rug, particularly as it relates to emotions. So again, Scorpio season can be a very intense sort of time. So Pisces, for Scorpio season, you guys have an emphasis on your 9th house, and the 9th house governs long distance travel. It covers places that are far away. It's an energy of adventure. It also covers higher education, law and legal situations, and things like philosophy and religion. So with Scorpio season, being in your 9th house of long distance travel and higher education, I feel like a lot of you are going to be focused on those things. Whether you are focused on things that are at a distance from you, that could be things that are abroad. It could be, people, places, and things that are in long distances away from you. Like let's say you're in New York, maybe you're dealing with someone, or you've got a lot of activity going on in California, or maybe even in Europe or Africa. A lot of you may also have some legal situations that you may be focusing on right now. Ninth house energy is also very symbolic of religion, philosophy, and things that are considered higher education. It's about overarching themes, broad and I wouldn't say vague, but broad topics that really speak about theory rather than practice. So that's sort of like what the ninth house is all about. And that's where your focus is going to be, because we've got the sun there, at least for the remainder of Scorpio season. We've got Mercury in your ninth house. We had a new moon in the sign of Scorpio, which was also in your ninth house a couple of days ago. And by the end of this week, Venus is also going to be transiting into your ninth house. So there's a lot of communication with people at a distance from you. A lot of you guys can be dealing with people overseas. A lot of communication, be via phone, via email, things of that nature. And with Venus about to get into the mix, it's also about your relationships. And sort of, you may also find that your ideas about fairness, your ideas about equality and harmony become center stage and become a focus for you, but not in the sense of a one-to-one relationship. Sort of your overall view and ideology of relationships and fairness and equality. Again, this house rules, the ninth house rules things like religion, philosophy, and law. So a lot of you may find yourselves really focusing on those kind of topics for this month. And by the end of the month, the sun is going to move into the sign of Sagittarius. And then your focus is going to shift towards your 10th house, which is your career and your public life. So you're about to be your energy is really going to be very, I want to say social, meaning that your communication, your interaction with the world at large is what is emblematic of Scorpio and Sagittarius season. So that's sort of where this is affecting you personally, Pisces. So let's get into the astrology for the month and see exactly what's going on for you. So one of the gold star days of the month is, or should I say was, because I'm filming this after the fact, November 12th. On that day, we had a powerful and potent conjunction between Pluto and Jupiter in the sign of Capricorn. If you've watched any of my other videos over the last couple of months, you've heard me talk a lot about the Great Conjunction. And the Great Conjunction is Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto all conjunct in the sign of Capricorn. And all of these planets mixing and mingling together is what's responsible for a lot of the chaos and the turmoil that we've been experiencing in the world and personally in our own lives, depending on where this conjunction sits in your chart. For you, Pisces, this conjunction is happening in your 11th house of friendship and goals. So over the past almost about 3 years, you can say that you've been experiencing a lot of ups and downs and major energy shifts when it comes to your association in groups, your friendships, people that you associate with, and your goals, ambitions, and the things that you really wish for in this lifetime. Your goals may have changed. People that you associate with, depending on your ideals, has also changed. And speaking of ideals, well, actually, let me get to that in a little bit. I'll segue into that after I explain what this conjunction means. So, like I said, you guys have been experiencing a lot of upheaval and energy shifts in your 11th house. So now, what does this conjunction between Jupiter and Pluto really mean for you? Well, the key phrase for this conjunction is hidden treasure. It's finding treasure in the place where you would least likely find it. I want you to think of it as like a diamond in the rough. Diamonds are made from earth matter, right? So before diamonds are formed, it's coal, it's other minerals, it's stuff that is seemingly not valuable, right? But if you add a lot of pressure and time, eventually this earth matter will form into a diamond that is beautiful, that is valuable, that is a luxury item and has a lot of value. But if you were to look at that earth material before it became a diamond, it was almost useless to you, right? That is sort of how this conjunction is playing out. So it's all about finding hidden treasure in places where you would least likely expect. So for you, Pisces, this is happening in your 11th house. And I feel like there is a group of people or an association that you either normally don't associate with or you've never associated with. And that is where you may find your abundance. That is where you may find your hidden treasure. And what's interesting is that that conjunction is directly working with the energy of the sun, Mercury, and Venus in your 9th house. Because the 11th house is sextile to the 9th house, it's sort of like this focus on your ideals, particularly as it relates to religion, philosophy, law, etc. Your focus on that and the value that you place on those, working in tandem with the people that you associate with, the groups that you associate with, putting all of that together is where you're going to find your hidden treasure. And that is sort of your task and your challenge for November. And that is how the month started out. Well, that's not how the month started out, but that was the major, one of the major points of the month. Thereafter, on the 13th, Mars finally went direct in the sign of Aries after having been retrograde since September. Mars in Aries is very potent energy. Martian energy is all about get up and go. It's about physical strength, endurance, stamina, ambition, aggression. All of that was debilitated when Mars was retrograde. But now Mars has finally gone direct, and this is happening in your 2nd house of money and material possessions. This is a great time for you because now you're going to have the energy. There's going to be that energy available to you to secure the bag. There's going to be that energy to find income streams. You're going to have the physical strength to actually work more, to bring in more money, to amass more material things. So that is also one of the major things happening in November. And that was back on November 13th when Mars finally went direct. Then the other day on November 15th, we had a new moon in the sign of Scorpio, which is again in your 9th house. I'm actually going to provide the link up here to my new moon in Scorpio video. You just definitely check that out because it's got such an important message for all of us at this time. New moons are usually about beginnings. It's about planting new seeds, setting new intentions. It's about newness. But this particular new moon, I feel focused a lot on endings, particularly that it was in the sign of Scorpio. You need endings to have beginnings. Endings usher in new beginnings. So there is a focus on having our awareness directed towards the endings in our lives and the things that need to end in order to make room to have new things and to have the room to grow and plant new seeds of what we want to manifest in our lives. And again, this is your 9th house. So this may have to do with a legal situation. This may have to do with foreign affairs. This may have to do with trips. Any of those things are up for grabs when we're talking about this new moon being in your 9th house. So again, I'll put the link up there so you can check out the video. And that energy is going to be available to us for a while. Even though the energy of the new moon only lasts maybe about a week, I feel like it's really the theme for November, and that theme is life after death. So that was that new moon also happening in your 9th house, and that was on the 15th. All right, and then moving on the 21st, we have the sun moving into the sign of Sagittarius. And like I said before, once the sun moves into Sagittarius and we begin Sagittarius season, that is the time when your focus is going to shift towards your career, your reputation, your public life, your standing, your social standing, all of that stuff. So again, you're going to be focused, motivated, ready to network, ready to cast a wide net so that you can make the most of your career. You can really be seen during Sagittarius season and when the sun is in your 10th house. So it's a great time. So there's some good stuff to look forward to, Pisces. All right, and then that same day on November 21st, we also have, like I said before, Venus moving into your 9th house of Scorpio. Relationships, fairness, equality, those are the things that are going to come into your purview once Venus moves there as well. And again, it's going to emphasize that 9th house energy. And then finally, we close out the month on a intense note with a full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Gemini. So full moons illuminate. They either show you the culmination of work that was previously done, or they shed light on things that have been hidden in the dark. This full moon directly relates to the new moon solar eclipse that we had back in May. So I want you to think back to May and think about what was going on, because at that time there may have been certain things that were eclipsed into your life, new seeds that were planted to grow and manifest into things that you want. So now maybe at this full moon lunar eclipse happening on the 30th, you may see the culmination of that. This full moon lunar eclipse is happening in your 4th house of home and domestic affairs. So there may have been property that you wanted to purchase that now you're able to, or there may be property that you are going to be divested of during this full moon lunar eclipse. There may be familial relationships that were tumultuous or that were the focus back in May, and now you're going to see how those relationships have progressed. Full moon lunar eclipses are full moon on steroids. The energy is very potent, so much so that in ancient civilizations, they were feared. Eclipses were feared because of the sheer power and potency that they possess. A lot of people in the spiritual community will tell you that you shouldn't do any moon rituals during an eclipse because the energy is just so all over the place. I don't necessarily agree or disagree with that. I'm just saying that that's sort of the general consensus when we're talking about eclipses. But what's important for you to remember is that eclipses are meant to sort of move things around in your life. Certain things may be eclipsed in, certain things may be eclipsed out, and it's all meant for your greater and your highest good. A lot of times we don't have the willpower, or we don't have the strength in order to move things around in our life. So eclipses come in at least twice a year in order to do it for us. So that is how we're ending the month. So again, this month is going to end with a bang. November is an intense month, but again, nothing we can't handle, nothing we haven't already encountered in this crazy year of 2020. But yes, that is November in a nutshell. If you guys want to know more about the astrology of November, I'm going to put a link to the November 2020 horoscopes in the description box below. Click on that, check it out. You can read for your sun, your moon, your rising sign. You can learn all about the transits for the month of November and information on your ruling planet. So again, that's going to be in the description box below, so don't forget to check that out. All right, so now that we've gotten the astrology out of the way, let's get into the tarot and see what messages Spirit has for you this month, Pisces. First card out is healing. All right, and we got 2 6s here, which is a 12, which reduces to a 3. This is healing with respect to relationships. And when we're talking about relationships, we're talking about Venus. And Venus is currently in your 8th house of shared resources, of sex and intimacy, and of transformation. And it's going to transit into your 9th house of higher education and long distance travel at the end of this week. So there is this focus on repairing these intimate relationships, or repairing situations where you share resources with someone in order to branch out and experience something new, in order to embark on this new adventure. So I feel like Scorpio season is all about healing those things. Perhaps emotional wounds. Perhaps I'm hearing like inner child issues that may be affecting your relationships. It's time to heal that, and it's time to find your voice. This blue is indicative of the throat chakra. It's time to speak your truth. I feel like a lot of you have not addressed certain issues, either within yourself or with partners, and now is the time to do so that you can take advantage of this healing, and so that you can move on and start anew in these relationships. All right. We've got higher power. And remember what I was just saying about the eclipses. What is this? This is a 4. So this has to do with stability. Eclipses are here to really rearrange things in our lives, particularly when we don't do it. If you've been holding on to a relationship, for example, this doesn't necessarily apply to you, Pisces, but if you've been holding on to a relationship that's toxic, right? And you know you gotta let go of it. You know you need to break up with this person. You know you need to separate it because it's not good for you. But you still hold on for a variety of reasons. You could be scared. You know, you may need to still live with this person. Whatever the reason may be, you still hold on to this relationship. Well, guess what? Of course, depending on where the eclipse is happening in your chart, once the eclipse happens, that relationship is going to be done for you. It's going to be terminated on your behalf by spirit, by the universe, because it's not of your highest good. And that's what this card is indicative of. There is a higher power at work, and there's this certain element of surrender that you need to have. Surrendering is hard. Not even gonna lie about it. Surrendering can be very hard because you feel like you don't have control. You feel like you're just like flailing in the wind. But trust and believe, God, spirit, whoever you believe is the higher power, they can see far beyond what we can see. And a lot of times the things that happen in our life don't make sense to us because we're only looking at them with our natural eyes. We're not seeing them. We're only seeing them from a 30-foot view, whereas spirit is seeing it from a 30,000-foot view. Spirit can see a lot more than we can. Hence why I was talking about how Scorpio season, and November in particular, is all about venerating ancestors, right? A lot of you may be receiving assistance from ancestors is what I'm hearing, because they can see farther than you can. They really know what's going on, and they're going to help you facilitate this healing that you need right now. We've got communication, right? And again, look at this. Well, first of all, this is a 33. Look at this. We got 66 right here, and then we've got 33, and they're both got this blue color. Some of y'all really need to activate your throat chakras. Some of you really need to speak up and communicate. Again, and if you don't do it yourself, spirit is definitely going to do it for you. But there's certain healing that has to occur within your relationships. And I'm feeling like this is relationships across the board. This isn't really limited to like romantic relationships or family relationships. It's like across the board. There's a lot that y'all need to say. And I feel like you guys also need to communicate with spirit more. Interesting, because Sagittarius kind of got the same message. You guys need to communicate with spirit in order to get that healing that you so desperately need. And I'm getting that some of you don't even realize that you need this healing. I feel like a lot of you are going about your lives thinking that everything is cool and everything is okay. And it's not so much that it's not okay. It's that there is some deep healing that needs to occur. And if we're talking about deep, we are definitely talking about Scorpio. Because Scorpio is all about deep. It's all about intense. It's all about everything that's under the surface. So there's some deep healing that needs to happen. And you guys really need to communicate with spirit in order to facilitate that. Love. It says, I commit to the practice of seeing the good in all things. Okay. This could be a romantic relationship. But I feel like, again, this is just across the board. Some of you need healing with respect to love. Specifically, like you feel like you are unlovable. Or perhaps like there is this misalignment when it comes to love. You either don't receive love in the way that you feel that you need to receive it, or you don't know how to give love. That's what needs to be healed. But again, the only way to heal that is to open your mouth, whether that be speaking to spirit or whether that just be having those conversations with people. There is this 9th house emphasis, right? And I said 9th house is long distance travel. Some of you may be in a relationship with someone who is at a distance from you. And not even at a distance physically. I feel like emotionally there is this distance between you and this person, or you and these people, which has resulted in you not speaking to them for a while. So this issue of love as it pertains to these long distance relationships or people who are at a distance from you, it's like you don't know if the love is there, or they don't know that you love them. It's like this disconnect, right? you need to get on this. You need to heal these relationships, not only because they're important in their life, but they're also going to heal you on a very deep level. It's really imperative that you do this, Pisces. Extremely imperative. All right. Oh, look at this. And then we have the heart. Yeah, there is this feeling of worthiness, this feeling of love. Some of you really do feel unlovable, or like you don't know how to give love. I almost feel like a pain in my chest right now. That's how some of you feel. You shouldn't feel that way. Number one, because you are lovable. That's a given. You are lovable. If no one else tells you that, I'm telling you that. You are lovable. But there's a certain mending of your heart. There's a healing of your heart that needs to occur right now. Some of you, this is a long distance relationship that's just not working out. I'm seeing like lines of communication that are just tangled. You say one thing, but it comes out in a different way, and it makes you feel like you're not expressing yourself well, or vice versa. Someone could be doing this and you don't know how you stand with them, or you don't know how they really feel about you. That's why communication is key this month, because you need to open those lines of communication and have open and honest communication that doesn't just scratch the surface, that really gets to the heart of the matter. Communication is key this month, Pisces. And then finally, it says you're ready. I feel like this is saying that once you do this healing work, once you open these lines of communication, you're going to be ready to receive. Look at this. It's almost like this treasure, right? Like this hidden treasure I was talking about before. You're going to be ready to receive quite a bit of abundance once you open your mouth and communicate. You're going to receive the love that you need and that you want. But you got to open your mouth first. All right, let's get into the tarot and see what messages we have. First up, we've got the Seven of Wands. Interesting. Sagittarius got the same thing. There is this, well, if you've been heartbroken, it's very plausible that you are very defensive when it comes to your heart. You're very defensive when it comes to relationships, and that has caused you to be tight-lipped, meaning that you don't want to say what's in your heart. You don't want to really say what's on your mind because you don't want to open that door. But some of you need to, because that is where your healing is located. Let's get some more cards out here. All right, we've got the God of Swords. And when we're talking about communication, this is who you want to communicate like. This person is decisive, they're clear, they're concise, and they communicate very well. And you see these butterflies here? Your words have a very transformative effect to them. What you say right now can really change things for the better, but you gotta be clear and you have to open your mouth. We've got Temperance. Remember how I said there's a higher power at work, and a lot of you are getting help from your ancestors? This is that work. It's like they're mixing things behind the scenes. It's this temperance between the spiritual realm and the physical realm right now. Like how I did. This is how I was doing my head too. Sorry. But yes, it's this tempering that's going on right now behind the scenes. For some of you, this conversation needs to be had with spirit. For others of you, it needs to be had with physical partners, people that you're at a distance with. But again, you've got to open your mouth. Then we've got the Ten of Swords. Perhaps this is why you guys feel defensive and why you need this heart healing, because a lot of you feel like you've been betrayed in the past. I'm getting that some of you feel like when you spoke up in the past, this is what happened. You got stabbed in the back. So you know what? After you got stabbed in the back, you were like, fuck it. I'm not saying anything anymore. I'm not going to speak my piece. I'm not going to say anything. And that's why you're at a distance with certain people, because it's like your defensiveness as a result of these wounds that you got perhaps from speaking up, speaking your truth, or saying anything in the past is what is causing this rift. No wonder why you guys are defensive. I would be too. But if you notice, there's also a butterfly here as well. Transformation is happening. The thing with the Ten of Swords is that the worst is over. The worst is behind you. And you see how you can't really tell, I'm not sure, but this person looks naked. So I feel like there was a time where you really said what was on your heart. And you got stabbed in the back. And you were like, you know what? No more. I'm never doing that again. But the time has come for transformation. The time has come for you to speak your piece. The worst is behind you. It can't get any worse than this. It can only get better from this point on. So don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to say what's on your heart. That open communication, again, communicating like this King of Swords. Clear, concise, decisive. That's what's going to change. That's what's going to change the situation for the better. All right, let's get 2 more cards out here. We've got Justice. All right. So remember how I was talking about Venus, right? And all about fairness. And some of this has to do with a legal situation. For some of you, I'm hearing this was a marriage. And you are estranged from this person right now. And you're really going through it, perhaps in a legal situation like a separation or a divorce. But still, the advice is the same. Clear communication not only will mend your heart, but I feel like you'll be able to reach some sort of settlement, some sort of fair agreement with you and your ex-partner. That's for some of you. For others of you, there is this energy of fairness, of justice. Some of you really want to see justice for the person that stabbed you in the back. It's almost like some of you just really want to rip this person apart for how they made you feel. And that's not necessarily the answer. Again, it is this clear communication that is the answer that's going to transform this whole situation. Yeah, for some of you, this really is a legal situation. It's almost like you guys are, your broken heart, whether it's you or your partner, is what's causing things to be stalled. It's what's causing things to be delayed. It's what's elongating this whole proceeding. Because you're operating from a place of woundedness. And you're sort of being like petty about it too. Like it's sort of a tit for tat kind of thing. And Spirit is like, nah, this is not how this situation is supposed to go. True, you guys need to go your separate ways, but there's a better way to approach this. And the better way in order to find this equilibrium, this settlement that's fair, is to have an open and honest heart-to-heart conversation with your partner. All right, let's get one more from this deck here. Let's get one more here. All right. Look at this. We've got the Four of Wands. Just look at this. I don't even think I really need to explain this card too much. You see how they are just happy. They're together. Look like he has his hand on her stomach. This is happy family. This is happy home life. This is what Spirit is cooking up for you. This is what Spirit is helping you with, but you have to mend your heart first. You have to mend your heart, but just know that this is the result. Like this is what you have to look forward to. So regardless of how you feel or how any past situations or communication made you feel and ripped you apart, know that there is better coming. But it's almost like you have to have those tough conversations first. And that's what's going to help you get on the road to healing your heart. Let's see what we have at the bottom of the deck. We've got the Emperor. So some of you are dealing with an Aries. I get the presence of like a strong male figure, very masculine, very authoritative. They could be an Aries or they could be an air sign. So that's Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. But whoever you're dealing with, it could be you or it could be the other person that you're dealing with, is very masculine, very strong, very authoritative. Right? And under that, we have the Six of Pentacles. For some of you that are dealing with a legal situation, you really can have an equilibrium and like a fair settlement. For some of you, it's child support I'm seeing. Child support may be the issue in contention. And you're being very petty because you were hurt in the past. Perhaps you really bore your soul to this person and they ended up cheating on you, or they ended up betraying you, and you were left feeling like this. So now when it comes to this issue of child support, when it comes to alimony, when it comes to settling assets, you're being real petty about it. And Spirit is like, I understand why you feel that way, but I feel like there's a better way to resolve this issue. And again, it's all about communication. But yeah, a lot of you are dealing with a strong male figure, an Aries perhaps, someone who is a business owner even, but someone who has a very like high position. This person may also be very militant and aggressive. Very militant and aggressive. And being that, you know, this is Aries, right? And we've currently got Mars in Aries. I feel like a lot of you are battling someone in court for money or a money related issue. I'm getting that really strongly right now. And your dealings with this person in the past has left you heartbroken. But not only can your heart be healed, but the situation can be healed as well. As long as you what? Open your mouth and speak your truth. All right, let's get some more clarification out here. Let's get some on the Ten of Swords. I want to know more about this past heartache that you guys have experienced. There we go. All right, we have the Four of Shields. Yeah, this is you right now. Like, you don't want to open your mouth for anything. You want to hold on to what you have, particularly your resources. I feel like if you, okay, let's say you are going through a legal battle with someone right now. I feel like you think that if you were to reach out to them and have a heart-to-heart conversation, like, it's going to make you vulnerable. It's going to make you look weak. So instead of doing that, you just bite your tongue, hold on to everything in the hopes that you're not going to lose money or lose this case. But again, remember I said in the beginning, there's a certain energy of surrender. This is not the energy that you want to stay in, because not only is this person out in the cold, but it's like there's nothing around them. Trust and believe that if you surrender to Spirit, and I'm not saying throw up the white flag in this legal battle and let someone walk all over you. I'm saying surrender to Spirit so that you can be open to this healing that you need, so that you can have this communication, and so that you can get what you want and heal your heart. Interesting. I didn't even notice this, but on the Temperance card, this Equilibrium card came out. This is the Justice card. So you've got this card twice in this reading. Spirit is helping you level the scales, balance the scales. Spirit is working hard behind the scenes in order to make this happen. So even though you may feel, or you may think in your mind, if I open my mouth and have this communication, this shit is going to go left. It's going to go all wrong. Spirit is like, nope, I'm taking care of things behind the scenes. It's like Spirit is setting up the scene for you so that you can come forth and speak your truth. Spirit is working things out, moving things around in your life so that you can have this transformative communication that you so desperately need right now. So let's get one on this Justice card. We've got the Two of Shields. And if you notice, this is the Two of Pentacles. It's almost like balancing scales as well. Again, equilibrium is really important. It's really important. That's like the emphasis this month. Let's get one on this God of Swords. I want to know who this is. Who is this God of Swords? I feel like this is the person that you're dealing with. Four of Cauldrons. Okay, so this is someone that you've been ignoring or that's been ignoring you. Y'all have definitely not been in communication. I feel like even if either of you have tried to talk to the other, they've been ignored. They've been completely ignored. But again, Spirit is balancing out this situation, and Spirit is setting the stage so that you can finally talk to this person. So a lot of you may be tight-lipped because in the past you tried reaching out to this person or even having a heart-to-heart conversation and they ignored you, or vice versa. I feel like now Spirit is setting the stage so that this person won't ignore you anymore, so that they'll be open and receptive to whatever it is you have to say. But you have to have faith. You have to trust in Spirit right now. Commune with Spirit. Communicate with Spirit before all of this. And I guarantee the Spirit will let you know exactly how to approach this situation. Yep. And then look at this. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Queen of Swords. So this could definitely be someone you were married to. This could be a counterpart, because we've got the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords. So this is definitely, for some of you, this is definitely an ex-wife, ex-husband situation. But again, the Queen of Swords, look at her sword is straight up. She is communicating. She is saying her piece. She's saying exactly what's on her heart. She's saying what's on her mind. She's not biting her tongue for anybody. And I guarantee you, this person is going to be receptive this time around. They're going to listen to what you have to say. Trust and believe that. And you're ready. You're ready. The situation is ready. The situation is prepped for you to do this. Trust and believe. Just stop being so defensive. And I know that's hard. It's not easy to just be like, okay, let me let my guard down. Let me talk to this person and see what's good. I know it's hard, but let your guard down. Let your guard down. All right, Pisces, so let's get 3 astrology cards to close out the reading. All right, we've got 2. Trine, which is flow. Interesting. So far, you guys are the only sign that has gotten like an aspect this month. Trine is all about letting things flow. If you notice with this Temperance card, you see how this guardian angel is sort of almost like when you mix drinks, right? Between 2 cups and you're tempering the drinks. It's like you really have to go with the flow of Spirit. Just go with the flow. Whatever you feel inclined to do, do it, because Spirit is setting things up for things to work out in your favor, for things to be favorable for you to speak up. So go with the flow. And then we've got Taurus. Taurus can be stubborn. I feel like some of you are being stubborn right now. Some of you are very stubborn. Again, you don't want to get burned. You don't want to get ignored again. So you're like, let me not. I refuse to talk to this person. I hear some of you saying. But Spirit is like, come on, come on, come on, come on. If you want a happy ending to this, you're going to have to speak up and stop being so stubborn. All right, let's get one last card here. All right, we've got Mercury. Mercury is what? Communication. Yes, I can't stress enough. Cannot stress enough. I love the fact that there are bees on here. I don't know if you could see that too well. Bees signify the impossible. The way that a bee is constructed, the way that a bee's body is constructed, it should not be able to fly. The fact that a bee can fly is almost an impossibility. You feel like the situation is hopeless and impossible, and Spirit wants you to know, oh, it's very possible. It is very possible for you to have healing, for you to have money, for you to have this situation resolved and your heart mended. No matter how impossible it seems, it is very possible with Spirit. So keep that in mind, Pisces, and open your damn mouth. A closed mouth does not get fed. And you're going to learn today. You're going to learn exactly what that means during this month of November and into Sagittarius season. All right, Pisces, that has been your astro forecast and taroscope for the month of November 2020. I sincerely hope that you were able to get at least one important message from this reading. If you would like to book a personal reading with me or order an astrology report, those links are in the description box below, so don't forget to click on those. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Divine Feminine Works. Every week I do a series called The Week Ahead where I do a quick and dirty tarot read as well as a quick and dirty astrological forecast for the upcoming week. So click on the link in the description box below to follow me there so you don't miss any of that good stuff. As always, Pisces, everything I do is a labor of love and comes straight from the bottom of my heart. If you feel so inclined and you would like to tip me by buying me a coffee, trust me, tips are very much appreciated. I'll put that link in the description box as well so you can check that out. Pisces, my loves, as always, it is a privilege and an honor to read for you. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I will see you next time.